Hello and welcome. My name is Megan Lucky, and this is A Lucky Life. Come along with me as I try and get to know myself better and hopefully help you get to know yourself better too. Hello, Ammar. Welcome to A Lucky Life. Thank you so much for coming. I know Ammar through Business Breakthrough with Rob Dial, who does the Mindset Mentor podcast, which is another much more popular podcast that helps you become the best version of yourself. So, Ammar, would you mind giving us a little bit of a background? Ammar also has his own podcast, The Leader's Life, and you're getting that started again, aren't you?
Yeah, Megan, first off, thank you for letting me be a part of your amazing podcast.
Well,
And the
thank you for
cool thing
coming.
about cool thing about Megan is that like she was just talking about authenticity and growth. And I said, you know what, this is something that's going to be a fun topic to jam out about.
Yes.
My name is Ammar Assad. I am the host of the Leaders Life podcast and top 2% in the world. Gotta
Ooh.
throw that little thing in there.
Plug.
And also, I'm a mentor. That's how I met Megan, who is a part of mentorship and is growing and fucking kicking ass like crazy.
Thank you.
Where I've been blessed to coach and mentor about 1,000 coaches at this point. And I also have businesses. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I have 4 kids, and I have, as I said, investor and all. But my passion is coaching and helping, and that's why I'm excited to jam out with you today and
Yeah.
you to give
Uh,
give back to the audience.
And we were just talking about, like you said, authenticity and growth, because last episode we talked about core values and how you identify and narrow down what your values are. I don't know if you're familiar with Brene Brown's value list. Have you ever heard about this?
I have. Yes,
Yeah.
I have. But
And like how
definitely,
you're supposed to narrow it down to only two, because that makes it a lot easier for you to stick to it, because everyone who is very clear and decisive on their direction and where they're going has not like a million values, but can be able to narrow it down to two. And it was really hard. It was very hard to only pick two, but those are the two that I landed on. And something else Ammar and I have been talking about is how those apply to relationships, and how, authenticity and growth are definitely big ones for me, but those are things I think a lot of people struggle with in relationships.
oh
Would you
yeah.
agree?
Oh my God, yeah. And I mean, the scary part is that there are more people living their lives not being themselves
Hmm.
just to impress others.
Yeah.
And the book of the regret of the dying, which I'm
Hmm.
sure you've heard of,
Definitely.
through Rob Dial. But one of the biggest regrets is not living up to
Yes.
living for others, living your
Yeah.
life for others. And I see it. And that's why when you were talking about this is your two big things, I'm like, we got to get on here and jam out,
Yeah.
because if there's
Yeah.
one person that can actually get some type of like, holy shit, like that's me. I gotta do better. I want to grow.
Yeah.
Then the job is done here. But yeah, this is
Yeah.
this is a very important topic.
Yeah. And I also think, like you were saying, I think so many people, and I said this last week on my podcast, I think so many people are trying to live up to these expectations that other people have for them, that they lose themselves, and they're moving so fast that they really don't take a second to slow down and really think about, am I going where I want to be going? Is there things that I need to change? And I think coaching is a big, we see a lot of people come through that have that kind of issue. And that's something I kind of wanted to ask you about. Is that something you see a lot with people that you mentor, losing a little bit of that authenticity and like feeling like they need to find it again, or find the spark that like makes them feel excited to live life?
It's actually the opposite.
Really?
It
Ooh, do
really is.
tell.
Yeah, no, they come in not knowing themselves. They
Yeah.
come in with this, I mean, they're gonna with this armor. I like to call
Hmm.
it armor. And they come in wearing this armor and they don't want to really let people in. They
Hmm.
don't want to let really, they kind of want to just be lurkers or just kind of feel in. And then, whether you have, myself or the other hosts, bring up a topic, that's when they start lowering their guard and be like, holy shit, like I'm around like-minded people.
Yeah.
I'm in a no judge zone.
Mm.
I'm not being judged for speaking my truth. And then that's when I see the authenticity. I started with you and you
Yeah. Yeah.
actually cried.
Yeah. I
You
know.
cried. Megan
Yeah,
straight up cried.
I did.
And she said, I mean, I'm just gonna say, I don't give a shit. Like
Yeah, I don't care
you
either.
said that I've never felt this much love for being myself. And that's all we
Yeah.
kept saying was you were
Support.
yourself and the
Yeah.
support. There you go.
Hmm.
And So yeah, I feel like when people come, whether in my experience into the coaching industry or
Mhm.
they join a program, they come in kind of like their arms up, like kind of
I definitely did.
yeah, like this, and then they're like, oh shit, like okay, I can relate, and then their shoulders will get low, and then
Yeah.
they start speaking their truth, and then they speak their truth, and they worry about judgment, and then they don't get that judgment, and
Yeah.
then they end up telling their truth and their stories and sharing their stories on social media,
Yeah.
and then end up, holy shit, like I'm relatable, more people can relate to me,
Yeah.
and that right there. So no, like to answer your question, I've seen more people come out of their shell after being a part of a mentorship or coaching program and be
Yeah.
themselves. And
Yeah.
like you, like a couple weeks ago, and it was just so beautiful to
Yeah.
see you show your personality and show who
Yeah.
you are when you were a lurker in the back. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
I was.
There you
I was just
are.
about to say that. I was just about to say, like, I'm towards the end of the program now. And at the beginning of the program, like, I really was hiding kind of like in the shadows. I was being a lurker. And Amar called me and like a couple other girls out on one meeting. He's like, oh, wow, Megan, you talked so much. Like, please quiet down. And I was like working it up in my head. I was like, should I say something? Should I not? And then you pulled it out of me a little bit. And ever since that, I really did start to be a little bit more vulnerable. And I was like, oh, like, cause in the back of my head, I was like, I came here to do something. I came here to make some changes and I need to lean into the discomfort so that I can come out on the other end and feel like, okay, I did something and I'm working towards the person that I want to be. And I really, like you said, like last week or a couple weeks ago, I really did kind of open up a lot. And I was nervous. And Amar will tell you, I was nervous as hell. But I came out of that, like you said, so much more me and so much more authentic and so supported. And like you said, I said some things that like I was really nervous about opening up about. And I remember you saying, like, look how many people are nodding. Look how many people are feeling that your struggles and your pain is so relevant to them too. And it gives me, because like that's who I want to be, someone who is authentic. And I have these hangups when it comes to being vulnerable, especially even with this podcast. This is something that I really, really want to do more of. So it's it's helped me tremendously to have this program, to have this mentorship. And I am the same, like I'm passionate about bringing this to other people and helping and mentoring and hopefully becoming an even better coach one day through this program
Well,
and
I'm gonna,
continued
yeah.
practice.
No, and that's what it is. I mean, and this is why, like, I feel like this is important for me to come on here. And
Yeah.
Megan is over here, and I appreciate the flowers you're giving me, but I got to give you your flowers. She's an amazing, amazing relationship coach. She's over there to be able to help couples and help individuals who are not able to, they love somebody so much, they want to be in this relationship, it's not working out, or they're single, whatever it is. Megan has such a good look and outlook in how to like be relatable in situations so you don't have to feel alone and be able, whether or not if you want to work on your partner, work with your partner, or just move on. I know Megan it does a great job, and I know you don't really talk about it, but
Yeah.
because you do kind of private stuff, but
No, yeah.
I can tell you right now that like you are definitely a badass coach,
Thanks.
and anybody who is looking to take their relationship and love to the next
Oh,
level,
stop.
make sure you reach out to Megan. So I had to plug you right there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. And I also think, like, I love what you're saying is part of what, and I'll get into it since I know that you're being nice and not doing it for me, but part of what has drawn me so much to the relationship coaching sphere is seeing and feeling, experiencing this in my own relationships and with everyone around me, but having so much of our past and having so much of the relationships we experienced in childhood play out in our relationships currently that are really subconscious and not who we want to show up authentically. And it's taken a lot of growth and conscious authenticity to kind of get me to where I want to be in relationships and who I really am and not all these patterns that I've learned growing up. And I think a lot of people struggle with that, whether it's an ex that they have these insecurities about and that they're letting them play out in this relationship, or it's just parent dynamics that you're playing out in your current relationship. So that's something I'm really passionate about because I think a lot of the time we give up on relationships sometimes before we're ready, and sometimes we have so much external influence that's tearing us one way or the other, and it's not really authentic to us. So I think that's something big that I like to focus on with my relationship and helping others with theirs.
Yeah,
So
and you nailed it. You said about the past, and the problem that we see today is that a lot of people, based on their past, based on their trauma, based on their negative experience,
yeah.
carry on to their next relationship.
Yeah.
Hey, he cheated on me,
Yes.
therefore you're going to cheat on me. I didn't trust this past partner, therefore I'm not going to trust this current partner. It's
Yeah.
two different things. I always say the past is the past. Like
You called me out on
past.
that recently too.
Yeah, like, and I want you to share that. Like, the thing
Yeah.
about the past, though, that like I want people to understand is like everybody has a past, and it's good to have that past. It's a learning experience.
Yes.
The thing
Yes.
that bothers me about the past is that if you keep bringing the past into the present, first off, you just said
Hmm.
consistency and growth. You're not growing because you're
Yeah.
just living in that vicious cycle
Hmm.
of this is the way it was, and this is the way I am, and this is the
Hmm.
way it's going to be.
Yeah.
And where's the growth from there? So like that's why a lot of relationships get sabotaged. A lot of friendships get sabotaged is because they feel that because of Megan, whatever way you were treated,
Yeah.
or in your
In the
previous
past,
relationships and your past relationships, all of a sudden you're carrying that
bringing
same
that.
insecurity to your current one. And
Hmm.
that is what destroys relationships,
100%.
destroys it.
And that is something like I'll be vulnerable right now and exactly say what we were talking about last week. Like I definitely have carried some, like I was cheated on in the past and I carry that insecurity into my current relationship. I've worked on it a lot and I've become so much more aware, which thank God has really really helped. And I still, still a thing for me, but it's something that I'm working on. And I remember feeling like, okay, well, like I really want to be here, I really want to be completely healed. You asked me, you said, does this have anything to do with your current relationship? I'm like, no. So I have this then people pleaser energy in me that's like, I know that, and so I need to be better for him. Like I want to be better. And
Mhm.
my therapist was like, "Well, if somebody got in a car accident and then they have issues driving again or they're worried anxious driving again, like would you say that you need to just snap out of it and just be better?" And I'm like, no, it's like for me, and this is like a strategy that I use for myself and that I coach with is you have to be able to find the balance between being honest with yourself and knowing, okay, this is somewhat something that I want to change, but you can also accept and understand why you are the way you are and show some kindness and compassion in order, because it's shame, that shame, it's different to have guilt than to have shame. Guilt is
Mhm.
okay. Like I don't want to make my person feel anything that is from my past and not doesn't have anything to do with them. I feel guilty for that and I'm working on that. But I also don't want to shame myself because that's what keeps you in that pattern. It keeps you in that rotation.
Oh yeah, and I think for me, the reason why my wife and I have, like, I'll say it, like the peak of
Yeah.
our relationship, we're like very happy right now, is
Yeah.
because she's selfishly working on herself and I'm
Hmm.
selfishly working on myself. And
Yeah.
I think that because couples think like, oh shit, Ammar, is working on himself, therefore he's to be better, therefore he's going to, talk over his wife and think like he's way above her, and that's not the case. It is not the case whatsoever. The reason
Yeah.
why our relationship has been so great, and for our four children it's been amazing, is because I am working on Ammar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Therefore what my wife Shannon does, whatever she does, it's my response and reaction that's going to cause the issue.
Yeah.
And it's all about valid. I mean, and I teach
Yes. We talk about this
sales.
in coaching. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you acknowledge and validate. And
Yeah.
what I learned is that if my wife comes to me and says the sky is purple,
Hmm.
I can't say no, you're wrong, you're a moron. The sky is purple. It's more like the sky is purple. She feels the sky is purple. Let me ask, so why do you think the sky is purple? Versus,
Yeah.
moron, the sky is fucking blue. Like, and
Yeah.
that's the problem with
Exactly.
relationships. You
Exactly.
share your feelings,
Hmm.
tell them how you feel,
Yep.
and then what do? They tell you, no, you're feeling
Yeah.
wrong.
Get
You're no,
defensive.
you're no, you're wrong. Your
Mhm.
feeling's wrong. No, like
Yeah.
you cannot tell somebody that their feeling is wrong. And with Andrew,
Yeah.
Andrew feels a certain way.
Yeah.
Like you can't tell Andrew
I
no.
know.
He feels that way. And that's
Yeah.
and that's why I think it's very important that, like, the secret in
Yes.
a good relationship is, it is communication, but it's also
Yeah.
communication within yourself. And it
Yes.
drives me fucking crazy. I'll hear people reach out to me in the coaching program or outside, and they say, "Oh my God, my wife and I, or my spouse and I, my partner and I, we're going at it." And I'm like, "What's the issue?" And it's like, "Well, she's not hearing me, and she's not." Well, what does she want? Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know. What does he want?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all
Yeah.
about who can be the loudest, who
Yeah.
can, it's like you're more focused on being right. You're
The
more focused
power.
on the
Yeah.
blame game, the power, than
Mhm.
actually settling the situation. I shit you not, Megan. There was an
Yeah.
argument my wife and I had where we are going back and forth to the point where we forgot what the argument was about
Yeah.
because we were so into that game about like, no,
Yeah.
no, like I'm
Who's
right.
gonna
No, no, no.
win? Yeah.
Who's gonna win? And it's like you both end up losing. Think
Yeah.
about any couple right now.
I was just about to say everybody's experienced that. Like, there's no way that if you've been in a relationship for a long enough time, you will go through that. You will experience that. But it's like you have to get to a point where you ask yourselves, like, is this really about resolution? Like, are we really trying to come to the same page here? Or are we just trying so desperately for the other person to agree and see our point that we lose the entire point of the
But that's the
argument?
whole thing is that like in relationships, the hardest thing, but I feel like is like a graduation level that I feel like
Yeah.
I just had the other day. Like
Yeah.
maybe like I didn't get the diploma yet because I don't know if I'm gonna, let me make sure
Yeah.
I'm consistent with this. Is just being able to agree to disagree, Megan. It's
Yeah.
like if you feel the sky is purple, then
Hmm.
you know what? Like, good for you.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way, but
I'm
thank
gonna
you
see
for
it.
sharing your
Yeah.
feelings. I heard that this you
And I
feel
love you and I care about your feelings, even if I don't agree with how
that's
that.
it.
Yeah.
But the problem is sometimes people take it as if, hey, you're not listening to me.
Yeah.
You're telling me you don't think the sky is purple. You're
Yeah.
telling me, and it's like, no, like
Yeah.
stop a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
I hear you think that, but don't try to convince me. Don't
Yeah.
convince me because that is when relationships turn into toxic. They become
Yeah.
toxic
Yeah.
is when the one couple is trying to convince the other one. It's
Yeah.
like you share your feelings, you express yourself, and how they respond and react is on them.
Yeah.
Thing about it too, and I'll say it, is that
Yeah.
when you guys are going back and forth and that emotion is high, logic is low.
I was
And
a yeah.
you know that. And I'm
Yeah.
sure, like, and I've had it in my marriage, and I'm sure you've had it in your relationship,
Yeah.
and people listening have had this. Like when you are in the heat of the moment and you are
Mhm.
arguing and you are
Yeah,
just
this is where I was gonna go.
I'm mad and I can't take it anymore, all that, and then saying shit because you want to upset the person. Why? Because your emotion is so high that you're not
Mhm.
thinking whether or not you're just
And
trying
you're
to
not being authentic. Like, that is not you. When
be
your nervous
hurtful.
system is dysregulated like that, when you're in the heat of the moment, you're going to say things that you will regret. And that is something that is such an important skill, I think, to learn. And that's why growth in the relationship is so important, that you're working on yourselves, because you want to be better, not only for yourself, but for your partner and for each other. And I think in those moments, it's so important to take a step back and not let it get, like, it's so easy to get sucked in and like vicious words back and forth, and then you come out way more hurt than if you were to step away, calm yourself, regulate yourself. Personally, like, this is something I've been talking about. Journaling is big for me, meditating is big for me, really putting my thoughts and feelings out on paper, or just thinking about them and sitting with them, so that I can get clear and know that, okay, like, I don't hate him, like, this is not, like, this is someone who loves me. We're two different people with two different perspectives, and we need to figure out better ways to come together so that we're not hurling insults. Or I don't want to regret the things that I say. I don't want to be somebody that I don't feel
Mhm.
authentic to. I don't want to hurt my person. So I need to learn how to regulate myself and calm myself in those moments.
And how do you do that? What is the way? You said meditating and what else?
Meditating, journaling, and also like not leaning into those fights like I used to. I definitely used to, and I grew up doing a lot of that, like, where it's
Mm.
that's and in a lot of ways, like, a lot of the times that I felt the most connected to my family was after a big fight, which is not healthy, you know.
Well,
But
because you get
again,
a lot
like,
out. You get a lot
yeah,
out without realizing it. And a lot of the times, yeah, it comes out hurtful, it comes out aggressive.
exactly. Like,
Yeah,
that's
but as
not
long
who
as
I
you're
want to
aware
be.
though, like you're
Yes.
aware and the listeners are aware, like are you sabotaging your
Yeah.
relationship?
Yeah.
Subconsciously, are you sabotaging it?
Yeah, like you said, being aware is huge. Being aware is huge. If you, and that's comes from a place of self-love. I saw something the other day that's like, if you think you don't love yourself at all, but you're invested in like little ways of learning how to better yourself, where do you think that comes from? that's self-love. Like you want to
Mhm.
love yourself enough so that you're put it, even if you're not doing all the things you want to be doing, like you're taking these little steps and that's coming from that place of self-love. So be that.
People don't know how to love themselves.
I
Like people
know.
don't
I know.
understand gratitude is really like a legit thing. When you say something,
Yeah.
I started this probably since New Year's. I say three things I'm grateful for in the morning and three
Yeah.
things I'm grateful for at night. And I share
Huge.
that with you guys. And it
Huge.
makes a big difference because when you're having that bad day,
Mhm.
subconsciously you're like, well, I got a roof under my house.
Yeah.
I just went camping with the family. Just there's a lot of things that you just realize that you
Mhm.
have good in your life that when you
Yes.
are at that low or you're fighting with your loved one and you're going back and forth with them and then you realize that like no, actually my life isn't that bad. This moment kind
Yeah.
of sucks, but it is
Yes.
bad.
Kind of, this is a weird connection, but kind of similar to guilt and shame. It's like when you feel guilty, you're like, okay, this is a bad moment, but I'm not a bad person. Whereas like shame is like, I'm a bad person. And
Mhm.
gratitude is like, I can know that I have a good life. I'm having a rough day. But I like to, and like kind of, I'm a little bit spiritual. I'm a little woo woo. And I like to talk about manifesting too. And this is something that I've been working on, tying my affirmations into my gratitude, because
Mm.
I had a hard time when I first started like learning about manifesting and I started
Mhm.
learning about affirmations. Like I was saying things I didn't really believe and then like wasn't working. Now I'm like, okay, I'm working on fully knowing my worth. And that's something that I believe. Like I'm working on it. Maybe I'm not 100% there yet, but it's something I'm working on and that feels good to reaffirm. I'm grateful for all these things that are actually in my life, and these are the things I'm working on creating that I also feel strongly about. And then I'm grateful to welcome in, and I'm bringing these things in, and I'm reminding myself, like, maybe I'm not 100, I'm working on my confidence or I'm getting there. And that helps me a lot. Similarly, like regulating my nervous system, waking up with a good attitude and not a bad attitude, or feeling like, oh, this day is going to suck. I'm now starting my mornings with a routine that like works for me. And again, there's different things for
Oh
different
yeah.
people, but
That's very powerful that you do that
yeah.
because that means you're once again you're working on yourself trying to see the cup half full because I did an
Yeah.
exercise in one of Rob's
Yeah.
classes
Yeah.
where I asked the question what do you not like about yourself,
I think
right?
it
And
was,
then I
yeah.
asked, what do you like about yourself? Or what do you love about
Yeah.
yourself? And the list, what do you think what do you think which list was longer?
What I don't like about myself.
Oh my God, by like quadruple. It was
Yeah.
like
That's so sad.
15 to 16 things they didn't
Wow.
like about themselves and like three or four things that they liked about themselves.
Yeah.
That's scary right there.
Yeah.
And I asked this question to you. You don't think you're happy.
Mhm.
Like you walk around like if you're not happy right now, like fucking work on it.
And
Being
it's a
happy.
choice.
Happiness is a choice. It
A
is.
choice.
It's not a luxury. And
Yeah.
when when I, see that people are just focused on what they are, what they need improvement on, and I suck at this and I'm not good
Mm.
at that, and then they subconsciously believe that. And then what do?
Yes.
They end up putting themselves in the gutter, end up putting
Yeah.
themselves in a negative frame of mind, end up sabotaging their relationship. Why? Because they're focusing on the negative. But when
Yeah.
that's shocking, what do you love about yourself? They're thinking, like I asked the question, what don't
Yeah.
you love about
Oh
themselves?
God.
They're writing, they're going. And then I'm like, what do you love about yourself? And you can see the heads in the Zoom, like, it's just like, are you fucking
It's
kidding me
way
right now?
harder. Yeah, it's so
But it's
bad.
just like, come on.
I know. I also think we touched on this earlier. I think we live in a society that is very much focused on external validation. We have a lot of influences going on in our lives that kind of we allow to let us feel insignificant, or we allow it to make us feel insecure. And I think that is something that I've definitely been fascinated by. I've been fascinated by the influence that, yeah, the media has, that like families have on people, that make you feel like you need to compare yourself, that make you feel like you need to compare your job, your relationship, and everything. And is that something that you see a lot with your coaching,
Oh my God, absolutely. Are you
mentoring?
kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, especially when you're doing anything new, you want to compare yourself to the
Mhm.
person who's crushed it. But the
Yeah.
problem is, you just said social media. Everybody sees the luxury, the glamours,
Yeah.
the reels, the highlight reels, but they don't see the struggle,
That
waking up.
literally everybody who is a
Yeah.
human experiences.
It's like, working out. It's like you can't, like, yeah, like after, so you don't see someone in a while, like, wow, you've been working out. Oh yeah, I look good. They didn't start yesterday. They're on a journey. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with self-development. It's the same thing with anything that you do. It's like you got to start and be consistent. The biggest issue I see is that with comparison is that, I look at you, Megan, I'm just like, damn, I want to be like Megan, but Megan's been in her journey for 4 or 5 years, and I just started right now. So it's like I'm on step one, you're in step five. Like I can't skip it. And that's the thing I see. The ones
Mm,
who try to
mhm.
skip it are the ones
Yes.
who are just continuously
They hit the
working up
same
that.
wall.
uh,
Yeah.
and they're just so fascinated and want to be at that next level, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's like the work
You can't
sometimes.
skip it.
Yeah, but the work though is that tough where it's like, okay, if you want to be a successful mentor and coach, it's like you're going to have to do the work to prove
Yeah.
yourself, number one, that you're able
Yeah.
to do it. And secondly, your audience or your clients are able to be able to trust you and you're be able to build that rapport. But if you're more focused on,
Yeah.
competitor, like, or, I shouldn't even call it competitive because self-development, there's no even
Yeah.
competition, the more the merrier. But if you're more focused of what other people are doing, then it's like you're never going to be happy with your life. You're not going to be
Yeah.
satisfied because you're once again putting your energy in somebody else. You're not
Yes.
putting that energy into
And
yourself.
it's never going to be enough. And I also
Never.
think this is something we talk about in coaching. It's like the struggles and the pain and the discomfort that you go through don't make you less qualified, but they make you more qualified. And I think it applies to other career paths as well. It's like you need to lean into the things that feel the most difficult and feel the most hard because you are going to be so much more confident because of them. And that's another thing we talk about. Like you can't confidence isn't just something you can carry and have for the rest of your life with every given situation. It's situational and you have to go into each new thing at zero and build the confidence up and go through the struggles and go through the pain to make that. And it's so people are so scared of being a beginner and they never become who they want to be because they're so scared of the embarrassment, of the judgment, of so many fears that they have that are keeping them exactly where they are and that they're never going to
That's
grow.
why people stay in toxic relationships.
Yeah.
Exactly what
Yeah.
you just said.
Yeah.
It's that, oh my God, I just spent,
Starting
3, 4,
over.
5, 6 years
Mm,
with this person. And my friends already know, or we're moving in with each other, or we live with each other, and or we bought a dog. And it's like you find these reasons, but you know what? I'll let her treat me like shit. I'll let him
yeah.
treat me like shit. And you stay that way and you
Mhm.
torture yourselves. And you on the only thing that you keep thinking about is, oh, but we have a lease together. Oh, we have a puppy
Yeah.
together. Oh, we have this, we have that. But it's like happy.
Yeah. That's
You
the
don't want to
biggest
start
question.
but you don't want to start like new, but you rather just torture yourself each and every day, be more unhappy than you are happy. Yeah, fucking relationship is work. There's going to be
Yeah.
challenges, but
Absolutely.
if you're waking up every day and contemplating whether or not you're
You're
happy,
happy.
waking up and then just being like verbally assaulted or being,
Yeah.
or just verbally abused or just not getting what you want, whether it's physically, sexually, mentally, whatever it is, like if you feel that there's a big void, you
Mhm.
should be working on that. If you really love your partner and you
Yeah.
really want to work with them, even
Yeah.
though you're not happy currently, work on yourself. And then
Yeah.
if you guys want to do it together, but
Yeah.
the only way you're going to get over something like this is, and you just spoke about it, Megan, about
Mhm.
confidence,
Yeah.
is by being able to talk to somebody so you can stand up for yourself. And that's the
Yeah.
thing that breaks my heart is
Mhm.
I've had many people, whether in the mentor program, talk to me off the record and say, hey,
Yeah.
Ammar, just let you know, like I've been in this toxic relationship for 10 years, 8 years,
Yeah.
9 years. I don't
Wow.
even know what happy is. And it's scary. It's so
Yeah.
scary because they think that that's the way life is supposed to be because they've invested this much time. That's it. I know
Belief.
their family. I love their sister. I love,
Yeah.
all this crazy shit
Yeah.
that you hear. And it's like, Jesus Christ, like just fucking work on
You want to
yourself.
shake
And
them.
yeah, if that's what
Ugh.
you want to do, but you got to you got to be honest with yourself and say it's very simple. Like, Am I happy
Oh,
myself? Am I
yeah.
happy with this individual?
Yeah.
Do I want things to change? And if I want things to change, what am I going to do to change it?
Exactly, because you can only change yourself at the end of the day. The only thing you can control is you, and you can't control another person. So I think for me, what has always been my method is if you keep working on yourself, and if you can't continue or you really feel like you're at this place where you cannot work on yourself or grow anymore in your relationship, then maybe that's not the relationship for you. And
Mm.
maybe you have to be accountable again, because the only thing you can change is, are you going to continue to subject yourself to that environment every day?
Oh yeah,
And
and
yeah,
yeah, no, I mean, great point. And I even see it in friends groups, like we talk about,
yes. Oh, yes.
constantly. That
That's
is,
such a big one too.
oh my God, yeah. Where like this is probably the
Wow.
number one thing I've heard from mentors, coaches.
Listen up.
Yeah, like the number one thing I hear is holy shit, like ever since I started working on myself, either I
Mhm.
started working out or started getting a coach or I hired a mentor or got into a program, my friends all of a sudden stopped hanging out with me. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, I used to drink with them, I used to party
Yes.
with them, and now that I'm trying to better myself, they're judging me and they're making these comments and they don't even want to keep me included. And if they all of a sudden make these snide remarks, snide comments, and you hear it, and then you
I
just
hear it all the time too.
it's
Yeah,
heartbreaking
it
that you
is.
got a group of friends. It's like, you know what? Choose a fucking other circle then. And you and I spoke, and you love your group. So we can just say it right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
You have a group that
I
picks you
really
up.
do.
I've
Yeah.
seen groups that like are like, oh, good, you're doing great, and then talk shit about each other. It's like
Mhm.
that. Oh, yeah, look, this Megan girl
Yeah.
thinks she's better than her
Yeah.
shit
Yeah.
posting because she's got a podcast and she
Yeah.
is working on herself. But I used to party with her back in the day, and she used to
Yeah.
drink this and do that. It's like, good for you.
Yeah.
You had that experience.
Yeah.
Power up the US Open shit. Good thumbs up.
Yes.
And crush it.
I was about to
No,
bring that
no
up.
regrets. That is good. But if you want to change and be better, you
Mhm.
can change and be better.
Yeah.
It's not, as we brought it up earlier,
Yeah.
stop doing things for other people. Stop living your
Yes.
life for the approval
Of
of your
s-
friends,
uh,
your even loved ones. Start
yeah.
living life for yourself.
Or strangers, even worse.
God, don't even get me on strangers. But that's why it's so cool. Like,
Yeah.
like I said, you're an amazing coach and people listening, reach out
Oh,
to
thank
Megan.
you.
But that's why it's so important to be in a like group of like-minded people because then you're
Mhm.
able to realize, holy shit, I can lower my guard and be myself and
Yeah.
have no judgment. And
Yeah.
that is what is so scary is that people rather live unhappy. I shouldn't say rather, but they
Yeah.
choose to
They
live
choose to.
unhappy
Yeah.
than to work on being happy because they're scared of change. And change happens in two ways. Either you control the change
Or it's
or the
forced
universe
on
is
you.
going to control it. And sometimes the universe isn't that generous, Megan. And
Yeah.
that's what I see happen.
Yeah. And so wouldn't you rather be in control of your life, and wouldn't you rather have the choice? And so, but yeah, I think people are so stuck in their comfort zones too. And even though their comfort zones are miserable a lot of the time, this is something we talked about last week. It's like, I feel a lot of the time my followers and my audience wants to keep me in this box. And I think last year, years past, I would have allowed it to keep me in that box. Like, you can't win. It's either you're a sex object, or you're doing something that nobody wants to see. So I just, now recently, I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep being me. Like, it made me want to double down. Like, I'm using this now because I'm like, I'm not gonna live in this box. I'm not gonna be who these people want me to be, because they are not willing to grow and they're not willing to be accountable, and they want to keep me here. This is where I want to go, and I need to be okay, like, blocking people. I need to be okay letting people leave, so that the audience that I want to create and the life that I want to live is
Mhm.
the priority, and not me living and trying to please everybody and make everybody happy, and trying to, tiptoe around everyone else's feelings instead of bettering myself, and also providing others with the growth that I want to provide them with, and that I can hopefully help them with. So that's,
Preach. And I mean,
yeah, I
I
mean,
know about being a sex
yeah,
object. That's why I
yeah.
button the top button over here. I'm sick and tired of
Yeah,
those freaking things. No, but the thing about it is that, like you said something again powerful.
yeah,
There are people out there that feel that, oh my God, people know me
yeah.
for this thing. People know me for,
Yes.
being a fun party animal. People know
Yeah.
me as the person to, close the bar down. And as I
Mhm.
said, like those
That's
are people, that's okay.
and
There's
that's part
nothing,
of me too, you
yeah, like
know?
there's nothing wrong with being, having a fun life and partying it up. What it does that lights you up,
Mhm,
good for you. But there's a moment in your life when you start to grow and
mhm,
want to be authentic and
mhm.
start realizing that, hey, like that was such a cool, badass part of my life
Yeah,
and I
but it's
loved
not all
it.
of me. Yeah,
Yeah, but you know what? Like I am actually a badass person
yeah,
that can educate you on your
yes,
relationship. I can educate you on growth. I can educate you on how to be a better boyfriend,
person.
husband,
Yeah,
wife, partner,
yeah,
whatever
partner.
it is. And that's why, like, and shit, like behind the curtains, I was talking to
Yeah,
Megan before,
yeah,
like last week, and I said to her, and this was on the live, I said,
yeah,
I'm sick and tired of people like Megan not showing who the hell you really are. The group, the raw dog, I gotta give my boy love. Like the
yeah,
raw dog program had a bunch of, we had like 30, 40 people on this call. And what did they do? They all said, Megan, holy fuck, you're amazing. You showed your true self. And it's like, why the hell? And I'm gonna put you on the spot.
yeah, please.
Why did it take you, what was it, 8 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever that it was, for you to actually show who the fuck you were? Because you, for some reason, had that guard up,
I
had that
did.
had that armor, and
Yeah,
you decided to let it down, and everybody embraced it and
yeah,
loved it.
yeah. I know. And that's kind of, I brought my beliefs, my limiting beliefs into the program, kind of like we were talking about with relationships. Like I brought my past traumas, my past experiences of not feeling good enough in the relationship, in the program, in school, whatever it is. I brought that into this new experience that had no place there, no place there, no place in my life anymore, and something that I want to get rid of. And I want to be, and it's in leading into those moments, it's in leading into the fear that you push through and you're like, oh, not only was this not so bad, but this feels so right. Like it feels so right. And it's going to motivate me. Like I left feeling so supported, so motivated. Like, let's get this. Like, I'm going to go double down, like posting. I'm going to go get new clients and really put myself out there more. And I think that's so, it was such a powerful experience for me and such an important lesson because you're right. Like there's a lot of people out there like me who really are so disconnected with themselves and need like moments like this or just need to give themselves the belief that they're worth more and that they need to give themselves the life that they want and create it.
So then let me ask you then.
Yeah.
I'm the interviewer now. Here we go.
Yeah, go, let's do
Oh,
it.
the
We're
interview
tossing it back
cat.
and
No.
forth.
So
Yeah.
right now, if there's somebody that's in a, let's just say they're stuck, whether they're in a relationship or not, right? And they want to either, they're in limbo and they feel like they're not happy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they're not happy is because they're just their cup's not being filled. That's the best
Yeah.
way. Their cup's not
Yeah.
being filled, whether it's mentally, sexually, whatever it is, whether
Yeah.
guy, girl.
Yeah.
What's your advice to them? Like because they don't want to throw it in, they're
Yeah.
not ready to throw in the towel,
Yeah.
but they're at that they're at that standstill right now. So what
Yeah.
would you say as a badass relationship coach?
I would say definitely spend some time on your own, meditating, journaling, really getting clear on what your thoughts and feelings are. And if this is someone you love and this is someone that you see a future with and you want to try to work it out with them, then I want you to regulate your nervous system, however that is, and come to them with maturity and love and have a conversation genuinely open to each other's perspectives and see how you feel in that conversation. Like, really tune into how you feel. If it's something that you know, okay, this is something I want to work on. We're maybe not exactly where we want to be yet, but I feel, and if again, like I think your question is so big, like, are you happy or are you unhappy? And really just checking in with yourself on that. And maybe the answer is no. And maybe you have this conversation and you don't really get the response that would make you want to continue. Then I think it's being comfortable in yourself and working on yourself and growing in yourself that you know deep down, you know your worth and you know that you can walk away and be okay and create a relationship with another person that can bring you the things and
Mhm.
meet your needs and see your perspective or understand you the way you want to be understood because that's possible. It's out there, even if it's not with that exact person. So I think, again, it's really dependent, but I think the biggest concept there is getting to know yourself well enough to trust your decision making and trust your feelings and be able to regulate yourself and have calm, mature conversations to figure it out.
Wow, you see, I saw the passion coming out as you were expressing it. Look how happy you get talking about it. Like, and there are people out there. That's
Yeah.
the thing. And something that I also like want to touch base is that like a lot of there are people out there that are just getting walked on, like just getting walked
Yes. A
on.
hundred
And
percent.
there's a few, probably a few portion of people
Yeah.
are getting it, but like a mistake that happens
Mm.
more than once is a decision. Like
Yeah.
that's just it.
Yeah.
And if you're continuing to get hurt over the same thing
Yes.
over and over, what would you say?
Then you have to be accountable for you're putting yourself in that situation and you need to know when to walk away because like we said before, the only person that you can control is yourself. And if you're continuously unhappy and you're continuously not able to show up and be treated the way that you want to be, then you need to be accountable and walk away and know that yes, it's going to suck at first, but you're going to be okay in the end and you're going to be better off because if you look at your life and you feel every day you're feeling that misery and every day you're putting yourself in the situation where the pattern is clear and it's happening over and over again, then that's on you. You can no longer blame the other person. You have to take your own life and you have to remove yourself from the situation if it's continuously harming you.
And yeah, and the thing is that people feel that that's normal, Megan. They
Yeah.
actually feel that this is normal. Oh, this is relationships. All
Yeah.
relationships grow through
Oh,
this. Like
yeah.
I am, that right there is the
Mm.
biggest red flag is when you say all relationships go through, like, no, they
Oh,
don't. They do
yeah.
not. They do
Yes.
not. You know, if you're getting abused, that's not all relationships.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you're being fucking verbally abused, physically abused, that's not fucking all relationships.
Yeah.
If you are being manipulated, that is not all relationships. If
Yeah.
you are being fucking played, that is not all relationships. If you are being cheated on, that's not
Yeah.
all relationships.
No.
So get that out of your damn head right now.
Yes.
That is not all relationships. That is a shitty situation
Hmm.
that you are in that you don't know how to get out. So what do? You say that to justify, to validate
Yes.
your feelings, and
Yeah.
that's not okay. And that is
Yeah.
why I get so passionate about it because I see
Yes. I see it.
unhappy people. I see it
Yes.
all the time, and they say like it's normal. Yep, it's normal that my boyfriend gambles $1,000 a week every time, or takes pills every night with some alcohol. Yeah,
Yeah.
then doesn't and then but
Yeah.
in the morning, he didn't remember that hurtful things that he said to me. It was just the alcohol. Then fucking don't around you, or don't
Yeah.
put your boundaries up because you can't
Yeah.
control other people, but
Yep.
you can control your boundaries.
Yourself and your
And that
boundaries.
is what is lacking. So those
Yeah.
people who say all couples
Yeah.
need to put your boundaries up because I
Yes.
see it all the time. And
Yeah.
it breaks my heart that there are
Justifying.
good fucking people out there
Yeah.
in just shitty situations because they think that
That is
that's the
normal.
way a relationship is supposed to be, Megan. And it drives me
Yeah.
crazy.
I know. And I think there is like that difference between, look, conflict is normal. You're not going to, like
Oh,
we
yeah.
said, when you have two people, you have two different perspectives. Of course, you're not going to see eye to eye on every single thing. You're different people.
Hmm.
However, what's
Yep.
not normal is what Ammar was just saying. All of those things are not normal. And it's not normal to be consistently unhappy, like all the time. Especially, like, I think I'm reading one of the Gottman's books, the Gottmans.
Yes.
I love their books and I think they're great. And one of it's a ratio. It's a ratio of positive to negative. I think it's 5. And it's especially during conflict. And that's something I think you can work on. But if you are being manipulated, if you are being abused physically or verbally, like that's not normal. If you are consistently unhappy, it is not normal. I also think there's a lot of misconception. Like there's really a lot of misinformation out there, even the opposite way, where it's like, oh, like we were talking about this, like, oh, you scroll on your TikTok, you scroll on your Instagram, and it says, oh, like, look out for these red flags. You should break up with your boyfriend if he does any of these things. And it's like, don't listen to that bullshit either. Like, you need to know yourself. You need to know how you feel in your relationship. And you can't say, oh, it's normal to feel shitty every day. Like, that's not normal either. But you also can't be like looking for problems and letting the media you compare your relationship to everybody else's or things that are not even real And so then you want to break up and you create these problems for yourself too. I think it's a double-edged sword. You need to be careful with that. You need to know yourself well enough to know when something is really wrong and not justify it away with, oh, well, this is all relationships. Everybody has to deal with this. And when it's true to you.
Oh yeah. I mean, fucking preach, preach. I mean, yeah, that's and what something that also like kills me, and I
Yeah.
mean something that you struggle with is that
Yeah.
relationships,
Yeah.
husbands, wife, boyfriend, girlfriends, partners, whatever you want to label yourself, do
Yeah.
not tell their partner what they want.
Yeah.
They don't, hey,
Yes.
you know what? Like
Yes.
that is something that was very uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I like when you kiss me my forehead,
Yes.
my wife, and then
That's
her
so
being
true.
able to do that, like things like that. People are just like, oh, I don't want to feel like weird. I don't want to
Yeah.
give them everything.
Burden
Gotta
or
open up your heart if you're in a relationship. If there are certain things that make you feel good,
mhm.
fucking say it. That I
Yes.
mean,
Because then
obviously
they'll
these
never know. They will never know.
and,
Like,
and
we're not mind
especially a woman ain't
readers.
a mind reader. I mean, a guy ain't a mind reader. I'm saying for every
Yeah.
guy that's listening, we are not mind readers.
Yeah.
So and that's what I feel like for me and my wife. Our relationship went to the next level is
Mhm.
because we started to express our needs. What I'm talking about is like, hey, it makes me happy when
You do
buy me
this.
flowers, or hey,
Yes.
it makes me happy when I come into work and you give me that big hug and kiss, or it makes me happy when when you smile at me, like looking at me this way, or say that,
Yes.
or call me this or that, like
Mhm.
share that.
You
And
want to make your partner feel good if you're in a
but
relationship
why
with
do
somebody you
people
love.
struggle?
Can I
I'm asking
answer it?
you. Well,
Okay,
yeah,
great.
please.
I think people struggle so much, a lot of the time because they never learned how to communicate their wants and needs, especially growing up, or their feelings. And I think so many people take it as an attack. Like if you say, hey, I want you to do this, or that, then they associate it with, oh, I'm not doing this. So I need to defend myself. And
Mm,
again, it's like the sky's
beautiful.
purple. I think a lot of it kind of comes back to that.
That
And a
was
lot
powerful.
of it
No, great
takes,
answer. Keep going.
yeah. And I think a lot of it takes learning how to communicate your needs in a responsible way. So you're saying, hey, like this would make me feel good, and not saying, hey, you never do this or you don't do this, because then it's an attack and then you can't communicate on a mature, emotionally regulated level. So I think having
Mm.
that conversation where you really can get through to your person in a way that is loving, in a way that like you both want to make each other happy, you don't want to make each other upset, so you share that with each other. And I think also learning what you like and paying attention to those things is important, because then if you don't know, then how are they ever going to give that to you?
And that's the thing, is that they're not going to know. And you
Yeah.
nailed it. You said it
Yes.
so powerfully, is the defending. Like, hey, Megan, I like to get, I want my
Yeah.
wife to kiss me in the
Yes.
forehead. And she's gonna be like, wait, what? What the heck? What? The kiss in the
Yeah.
cheek isn't good enough? Like, what?
Yes.
The hug isn't good enough?
Yes.
It becomes like, I'm just sharing. So it's like,
Triggers.
there you go. And it's like
Yeah.
if you want to lower
Yes.
the guard
You have to be vulnerable.
and be able to share with your loved one
Yeah.
what you need to fill your cup in the relationship,
Yeah.
fucking do it. That is like
Yes.
fucking breaking news alert, red alert, alert. Like
But it
that
is
is
that
going to
like
make you happy.
graduation.
Like that's going to make you happy, is by sharing with your partner what you need, what you want to make you, again, I'm going to use the word happy.
Yes. Yes.
Happiness is a choice, and
It's
people
choice.
rather marinate in their sorrow versus their happiness, and it drives me fucking crazy.
I know. If there, and I know we have to wrap up soon. So if there is any last piece of advice that you would give, whether it's relationships or just life in general, to anybody who struggles with some of the things that we talked about today, what would it be?
Oh wow, I mean, we
I
covered a
know.
lot of
Sorry,
it, but
loaded.
no, she's like,
Loaded.
come on, put me on the spot. No, I think for me, it's very important that you got to just ask yourself, like right now, I'm just gonna ask you and close your eyes and answer it. Are
Mhm.
you happy?
Yeah.
And if you're not happy, it's
You
okay
do
that
it.
you're aware. It's okay
Yes.
that you're aware you're not happy. It's not okay that you're not going to do anything about it. And you can have the greatest intentions in the world when it comes down to your relationship,
Mhm.
but their perception is two different things. Your
Yeah.
intention and their perception are two different things. And I don't want you to go out there and say, oh, well, I had good intentions by buying her flowers, even though you knew she
Mm.
doesn't like flowers. So it's like, your intentions could be good, but their perception can be different, and that's where the clash
Mhm.
comes in marriage. So my
Yes.
my best advice to everybody is focus on being happy. If
Mhm.
COVID has not taught you anything, is that nothing's guaranteed in life
Yeah.
except your choices and your happiness.
Yes.
So be happy
Work
and
on yourself,
work on yourself.
continue to grow yourself, and know that you have a choice. You have a choice in your happiness. So,
And hire Megan if you're
and
struggling
hire
in a
me.
relationship. No, I'm gonna go. She's doing that uncomfortable laugh because I told her I'm gonna call her out. She's one of the best relationship coaches I know, and I think you should go out there if you are struggling. Just get on a call with her and work on it. Especially if we said
Thank you,
if
Mark.
your relationship has potential, you feel
Yeah.
that there's like a missing screw, a missing
Clarity.
piece,
Yeah.
clarity, whatever it is, like reach out to her. This is her genius zone. And I'm just, really,
Yeah.
really, really
Thank
humbled
you,
and
Omar.
happy that you were able to bring me on
I'm
here.
really humbled.
And it was
Thank you
very
so much for coming on here, Amar. Thank you so much for dosing us with wisdom and dosing us with all of your personality. And I had so much fun doing this with you. So thank you so much. And I will see you tomorrow.
Yes, thank you so much, Megan. This was awesome.
Thanks, Amar. Hello and welcome. My name is Megan Lucky, and this is A Lucky Life. Come along with me as I try and get to know myself better and hopefully help you get to know yourself better too.